Hello again. I apologize for that. It's and I'm not sure why it glitches. Oh, check it out. For anyone who noticed, I didn't have my bands on. I went. I used our technical difficulty there as an excuse to go get it. Um, so the last thing I was talking about before I froze was Bostrom and yeah, the importance of just learning how to critically think and everything. Um, but he's terrific. I agree. I can't remember who it was that said it. I think it was Suke that said it. Um, okay, so uh, thank you everybody for reading the series and for this is something. It's amazing to me in a way. I still haven't got my head around it that it's like one book is like that. That's crazy. Um, and and I understand why people wanna read a bit of Inhuman and then get into it. I think that's really cool. And just thank you guys for doing that and delving back into the series and getting to know all the characters and everything. And make sure you got some tissue because you never know when that part I was telling you about is going to come up. Uh, and you may just start bawling like Jenny did. Jenny. Um, but nothing to be ashamed about because it can be sad sometimes. It's not all sad though, for sure. The series isn't or book six isn't all sad. I mean, there's some stuff that's pretty crazy. The stakes just keep getting ramped up and ramped up and ramped up, and yet I I'd say like it's also in a lot of ways the funniest book too. So it's pretty cool that it can do all of those things. And when you've got something that's as long as The Stand, you've got enough space to be able to do things like that. So yeah, it's yeah. I'm so glad the reaction I've been getting is amazing. Um, just I don't know. I love the tribe. Love you guys. You guys are incredible. Uh, so October 1st, a lot of stuff will happen because of Dangerous to Know. The the only reason I haven't said, I mean, I've given a lot away, and some people have definitely guessed, but that the only reason I haven't said what's going on with the oh hey Michael hey, and then Jenny's like hey Michael Beeson did not no Beeson didn't stop us here first. I have to do a full reread of the series before I start. Right, yeah, okay, totally. Again, I get it. I mean, it's actually pretty fun to read the whole series where you get into it, and I kind of wish I had been able to do that myself. It's really fun, but uh, it's just amazing that there's been so much of that. It's amazing that people actually read uh, something that's almost as long as the whole series, like 1 to 5. It's really close to being that long. It's a heck of a book. It might not feel that way because it's on your Kindle, but it'll keep you busy. But at the same time, Jenny was saying it doesn't feel like it's long, and I'm sure that's the Ziernik effect again. So uh, it, it'll be October 1st, and the reason why we have not been able to talk more about that premiere is just because the festival are the ones that are gonna have to say it until they come out and say it. We just we don't want to let the cat out of the bag, and they'll do great stuff to promote us at the same time that they're promoting the other movies, and that's awesome. But then we'll be free, and we'll promote them. We'll promote the festival because we love them. We really love them. They're just great. We've seen actually a lot of the lineup for that festival, and Jenny and I were saying I mean, I don't know how to tell you that I'm just being totally honest when I'm saying this, but I am. I'm just being totally honest. Like we haven't seen those movies. Obviously, they're new movies, but we were both much more interested in what we were seeing than we were pretty much any other festival that I've seen. I love what they pick. It's stuff that I think people would actually really enjoy. What do we got here? Having an ETA on the paperback. Okay, that series once read is so great. You never forget it. Am I missing anything? I'm saving a glass of scotch. That's great, Jan. That's beautiful. I say about 30 days just to test them out. Okay, Jenny's answering this one for Jenna. Dwayne, I've searched and searched for a clue for the festival and I've come up empty. Wow, cool. Oh, I guess I'll just have to wait till October 1st. Yeah, it's not your fault, Dwayne. It's been really because of COVID, it's been confusing. So you probably have looked at the festival, but then dismissed it because of what's happened with it, and thought, well, it can't be that one, but it is that one, and you'll see, you'll get to see soon. Yeah, so Jenny's saying Eterna that about 30 days, I guess, is a guess. This is because we may end up testing multiple versions, so we might test two different companies and see, because one of them we know has to be volume 1 and 2, but the only way we're going to go with volume 1 and 2 as opposed to just one giant stand size book is if the stand size book just if the quality is not very good, then we do volume 1 and 2, but otherwise we'll do the one volume. I'm looking forward to it. I think having one really big book like that will be kind of cool. Yeah, again, it wasn't something I aspired to do. I never, when I was a kid, or if I saw The Stand by Stephen King, I never thought, well, I just want to write a book that's that long. It just fit with this one. Just fit. It would be awesome. Yeah, it would be really cool. It'd be really neat. It's kind of amazing, actually, that it might work, because it's just by like this much that we might be able to do it. I think if it was 50 pages longer, we wouldn't have been able to do it. But I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be that big, but as one book. So it'll be really heavy, and everybody who orders it, but also the people who already ordered it through the Kickstarter. You'll get something that significant. It's pretty crazy. Battlefield Earth was one volume. I don't know if Book 6 is similar or longer. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to know. Bigger than the final Harry Potter. I think so. I mean, this thing is. It's hard to say how many pages it is, because it just depends. Well, I guess we'll see what it is on the paperback, and it always depends what size people's font is and all that sort of thing. But it's very close to 350,000 words. I think it's the final word count just for the text, not counting all the front matter and the back matter, the acknowledgement and all that stuff, but just the actual text of the book is I think 348,000 plus words, and Inhuman is just a bit over 100,000. So it's a really, really significantly sized book, but I don't know. It doesn't feel to me, at least. I guess because it's in these sections, like it almost feels like you're reading a particular novel, but that novel just isn't separated from another novel, and they're crossing over, and they are having an impact on each other, at least in how it feels, and so it creates a new experience that's different than anything you might have experienced before. I'm loving the reaction so far. The early reaction from people who've managed to read it has been really good, and I wanted to write the best thing I've ever written. I hope I did. Just whatever I was capable of. I told someone yesterday, I think, I just said I left it all out on the field. I really, really did. I know that's a crazy thing to do at the same time that you're making a movie, your first movie, and you're making it in a way that's different than how anyone's ever made a movie before. But I don't know. I can't help myself. Like if that feels like the right thing to do, then I go with my instinct. Battlefield Earth was a huge paperback, and I just looked it up. 260. Oh wow. Okay, so a lot longer than Battlefield Earth. 266,000. Wow. yeah, I don't. It's so strange. It's amazing the way it adds up when you've got a story and you've got different strains of the story that seem to require something epic, and it's funny because not only do I have these characters that people love, I love them too. I mean, they've got so much history, but now you're giving these characters, but in different universes. You feel like you really care about all of them. Um, uh, Donna, so acknowledgement on my Kindle version. Um, yep, yeah. The acknowledgements will change, Donna. It's not. We're not there yet. I mean, I know that there is some. Uh, I think it's like mostly there, but it's not all there. A lot of the people who are going to be credited as beta editors are still sending in some things. So, and it was small print. Don't see how you can have 350,000 words in one book. Either way, I'd love to try. Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. That's why we got to test it. That's why we got to test it. I mean, that's gonna have to be a really strong spine. I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I hope we love it. I hope we look at it and we just love it, and we're so happy to have it, and that it looks great. We've been talking about the spine actually, and what we're gonna do with a spine that's that big to make it not look, weird, and to make it look, when you do put it with the other books in the series and you see all the spines together. I mean, obviously it's going to stand out, but we wanted to make sure like it looks like it's part of the series and it's not something um, that is separate or anything, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure what we'll end up doing with it or what it'll look like. It always has to be one thing at a time. So it's the first thing is make sure that we get the thing done. I remember you asking to use my name in the book all those years ago, and I forgot. Yes, Donna. Um, uh, your name is not in the book anymore for the character, but we'll see. We might switch it back. There was a character that I named, and then I think I asked after the book was written in those over the years in different sections, and the character that I was using your name for had a different name. So uh, during the editing, I just went with a fictional name. It's not named after anyone else. But I thought about it, and I have thought about it, and I might switch it back. Actually, we'll see. Um, the last book, so I can get going into this. Yeah, yeah. It's funny how that ended up happening. It's like I wrote the first 100,000 words, and that's when Management 360. I mean, if anybody feels like looking them up, you can. But Management 360, they were big when they contacted me, and now they're really big. I mean, they're really the biggest management group in Hollywood, and it was because of the conversations that I had with them that I wrote. They asked for the uh, screenplay for Posthuman and Subhuman. So for the first two parts of the series, and I gave that to them. But then I wrote Dangerous to Know right afterwards, and the reason why I did that was because it was explained to me by the management group that it would be something where my voice would become less and less and less as we went through the process. As like a big name director came on, or some actors come on, and I would just be this little novelist. But yeah, at least I'd make some money. Um, but I mean, there was so much concern. I remember, especially with the tribe at the time, that don't let them mess with it. And don't let them do something crappy. Don't let them do something garbagey. And so I didn't. I took it to heart. I really didn't want to let them do something that would. I didn't want them removing characters or switching characters, uh, genders or anything like that. I've been through that sort of thing before. I didn't want them drastically changing it. There's a movie actually that Jenny and I saw recently, and I won't say what the movie is, but it's so obviously Subhuman. I mean, it's so obvious that the person that wrote it, you know, lifted the characters right out of Subhuman, and basically used the same story, but you know, basically took everything that was really cool. Anything that was good about the movie, I felt, came from Subhuman, and I knew about it when the movie came out, but I just recently was able to, you know, hold my breath and watch it, and it was even more of a ripoff than I realized, and it reminded me of the type of thing that could have happened. You know, that was, you know, they made that movie, but I almost could have seen them, you know, putting the title Subhuman on there, and and yet it wouldn't, to all the fans, it just would not be, it wouldn't be Subhuman because it was changed so much to save money. Can I say it? I know exactly the movie you're talking about. You can say it. I probably can't confirm or deny yet, but yeah, it's exactly the same. I mean, they've got a Colonel Payne, but instead of, you know, making him as cool as Colonel Payne, they just like kind of give him one line that's Colonel Payne like. Yeah, and just, yeah, and everyone can see probably from my reaction. You know, have a look at what John just said at that point in the video, and John's he's a wise man. So you picked it up too, huh? It's tough. It's really tough. Like the things that were really cool about Subhuman is that's what made that movie actually good. Um, Anything else that they added to it was you know, not that great, and um, but they you know, you're able to build the fundamentals. I mean, even the name of the lead, it was so obvious. It was ridiculous. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I know the wife even had the same job. It's hilarious. That's so funny. Again, I'm not confirming, but yeah, I know. Uh, it's one of those things, you're watching it, just want to slap your face. I mean, it's just such a blatant ripoff. I mean, even the death of the Colonel Payne character, you know, he's not Colonel Payne, but he is like. I mean, they couldn't even give him a different death. They had to give him like the exact same death. It's ridiculous. Um, yeah, the I need your permission and all of that. Yeah, and I mean, you know, Management 360 was really excited about Subhuman, but the thing with Hollywood is things are just, they just go so fast. So even though I got those scripts to them really quickly, by then, you know, who knows? They've checked in with me, but I'm not really sure what happened. And it's not like the script needed to get out there and be ripped off. I mean, it could be just simply that the book is there, and so that screenwriter is known for uh, ripping people off, and so far has been able to just kind of get away with it. It's kind of amazing. He'll always say, "Oh, it's a homage," or maybe it got into my mind or something. He made sure in interviews to say that he'd written the script but hadn't shown it to anybody, and it was like the same year Subhuman came out. You know, it's really funny how it's ridiculous. I'm not confirming anything. It's so funny. Wow, it's how quickly people are putting stuff together that may or may not be accurate. As long as you can still put out post-human in a movie, make it way better. Yeah, I mean, for sure. That's one of the good things about it, actually, Michael, was just that because of the cheapness in the copy. Yeah, I think a lot of people wouldn't even realize it's the same. And it's also really interesting to see that even though that movie didn't really get a wide release, I don't know why it didn't, but it probably should have, because the response from viewers was so good that there's been a lot of talk about doing sequels. Now, of course, the writer-director doesn't want to do another one. Why? Well, because the way he did it, the changes that were made, he has no idea how he could continue ripping me off. Maybe he'll think of something. But that's one of the things that that's I guess a bit of a blessing, and the fact that that people who watched something that was, I mean, the things that people loved were the things that were lifted. I mean, that's it. Yeah, there wasn't anything that was added to it that wasn't in Subhuman. That was something people responded to. Um, Armageddon Deep End came out at the same time, and one was infinitely better, even though it wasn't the more popular. Posting will be better for sure. Yeah, it will be. I've got some really good ideas, as far as how we're going to make those movies, uh, and and how we're going to do it in a way that people aren't expecting, but that the final product won't disappoint people. I'm going to make sure not only does it not disappoint people, it's going to surpass people's expectations. I mean, it has to. It has to. It just has to. So it will. I'll make sure it does. And I'm looking forward to making them. And I think most of the people that are watching here know that Dangerous to Know is a step toward that. And the camera that I used to make Dangerous to Know, finally Sony has a replacement for it, and they've taken care of all the things that made doing Dangerous to Know difficult. Like it was a really great camera, but there were a lot of limitations to it, and that made it made it harder to edit, and made it harder to get the shots that we wanted, and just made everything take longer. But it's all been taken care of, and so the sequels are gonna look better, but we'll be able to make them faster. The way the tech has changed is going to allow us to be lean and mean. Even if the pandemic isn't over, if I make a deal for Dangerous to Know quickly enough, I'll be able to start filming the sequels, whereas other films have a hard time. It won't be as difficult for us because it's going to be such a small group of people that are required to make it. Okay, no more new comments. Yeah, so Dangerous to Know is sort of step one, and so it's really important right now. I mean, October 1st, how we launch Dangerous, maybe what representation I may or may not have by October 1st or early in October, and whatever deal we have. I mean, a lot of things are going to dictate whether or not, or how long it's going to take to start making the post-human movies. But, fingers crossed. Yeah, things have to go well. So when those things happen, if you possibly can, just be there, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything. Just be there and just voice your support, and show these guys that don't know the things that show the guys that are just kind of there to make money from whatever movie is popular. Like just Matt Smith is Aldous, please. Matt Smith. Be there to show them how much you care about it, and how popular it would be if they gave it a chance. I've got to find Matt Smith because I do not know who Matt Smith is. I'm looking. Oh, yeah. Doctor Who. I didn't know that was him. Cool. Yep. Yeah, I mean, right? I love that. I love how, without a physical description of the characters, that's something I really like. Even though there isn't I'm not describing the characters, and I do that on purpose. There's very few Doctor Who yet. There's very few descriptions of characters. Like sometimes I'll describe a character's eye color, or I might describe a character's hair color, and I'll only do that because I need to differentiate the character from another character, or there's something about that character's eyes that are really important. But I don't go into a lot of detail describing what a character looks like, and I do that on purpose because I really want the readers to do that. I want you to be able to make that character look like who you want that character to look like. And it can be somebody from your life, or it can be, I also do that where I do some Hollywood casting in my mind. But I love that, I absolutely love that, that I tend to agree with the casting. I just feel like people, uh, who, what readers are picturing usually ends up being, you know, pretty close, pretty close. So that's good. And it's such a strange thing, isn't it? Because I never do say, but yet, Michael, I'm about to introduce a bunch of new people to your books thanks to that movie, which will not be named. Yep. I mean, that's what you could do. I mean, that's one thing to do. Is like don't name the movie, but then you will name the movie. But say it's pretty similar to that, but higher concept, I think. I I know that they didn't have much budget. I know the company that made it, and the fact that it didn't get a theatrical release isn't that surprising to me, because that company is pretty narrow in what they make, and they've been very successful. But I could see why they wouldn't have realized and that they had a hit on their hands. It's not the first time that they've not spent money to market something that they made that was actually really good, and was this close to being in 3,000 theaters, but instead just goes to Netflix or something. And so that movie, I think, had a very limited theatrical release and actually did pretty good. But by then, I think it might have been too late, and so they just ended up going mostly as digital, and it probably would have made a lot of money because slowly people have discovered it and really liked it. But again, it's the stuff that gets. I mean, people get really excited about the stuff that is in Subhuman. I mean, that's the stuff that's exciting to them. This idea of having an AI inside you, um, and 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 what you'd be able to do with that, and that dynamic between that character and the AI and everything. That's the stuff. Um, I can't remember who was saying it. It was John Locke who was saying, "Yeah, it has the same job, for God's sakes." Yeah, ridiculous, ridiculous. Uh, so yeah, um, it's it's an exciting time. I'm really glad that I could do this. I cannot believe how hard it was the last couple of weeks, pushing myself. I've never done so many all-nighters. I've never worked so hard, ever. And I mean that. I mean, in university, I didn't have to do that many. During the Kickstarter, I didn't. And I thought I would never have to try so hard ever again. But because of that Amazon um, nonsense with that deadline, yeah, man, this was brutal. But um, it's out, and it's pretty awesome. It's clean now. It's creatively edited. Most of the typos should be caught. Beta editors will keep sending me some typos as we go, but I don't think there should be a lot that I didn't catch, and so it should be pretty professional. It should be pretty enjoyable to read when you do get to it. And then October 1st, I don't know what day of the week that is. I haven't had a chance to look at a calendar yet, but hopefully it won't be too late into the day. In fact, it's probably going to be announced, before most people even wake up in the morning. And 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 it's going to appear in media sources, like big media sources, and um, that'll be really nice to see. And we want to capitalize on that as much as we can. So, if you have Instagram and it's not too much trouble for you. I mean, I don't want anyone to have to like get Instagram if you don't want it, but if you have it, might be a good chance to follow Posthuman series, or even Dangerous to Know the movie, um, and and also, oh, Michael didn't get a beta copy, huh? Huh, where did that happen? That's okay, Michael. We'll get it to you. Don't worry. You're gonna get it just if you send your email to Jenny. I don't know how that happened, but we'll get it to you. So you're gonna get your copy? Yay, happy. That's a good thing. That's a big book to get. Um, but yeah, so Instagram, I guess Facebook too. The fan page. There's a Dangerous to Know page, but there's also a Posthuman series fan page. Again, you don't have to get those things. You could just do it here on YouTube. It's fine, but we want to make sure that we really um, that we just have a day where hopefully we see a lot of the tribe. So I'll be back before then, though, for sure. I don't know how often I'll be back, but I think I'll be back a fair amount because we'll be creating these things for that day, but we'll also be doing things even to the movie, and I'll be doing all kinds of things for my career that I haven't been able to focus on because I've been focused on just getting the edit done and getting the book out. Yeah, it should be fun. So I think I'll see you guys a lot. This has been fun. I mean, got two videos out of this. That's really great. I would just stick around. I really would because I just love hanging out with you guys. But I gotta, I don't know. I gotta work on something. I gotta get going on something. A poster actually, I think is the next thing that I'll be working on. Good night, D&J. Great job, you guys. Thanks. Thank you very much. Lots of lots more cool stuff is coming. I'm gonna have there's a Dangerous to Know novel, but it's at that stage that Superhuman was at, where there's a draft of it, but then you got to go through the creative edits, and so there's some work to do yet, but it's not a ton. It's not like months and months and months or anything. And then we're gonna have the audiobook will actually be done by us. That'll be the first time we've done an audiobook. But since we did the sound for a whole movie, we can do an audiobook. Should be a really good audiobook actually for Dangerous to Know. And hopefully we have figured out the distribution, and we'll be able to tell you some things about where people who might not be able to see the world premiere of Dangerous to Know, because of where they live in the world, like where they'll be able to see it, and give some people an idea of what's coming, and be able to talk about that some more. So I mean, there's so many good things, and I'll be around more, and I'll get to hang out with the best people in the world. So yeah, please sleep, and I hope you feel good. I really wanted I really wanted to get Superhuman to you. I wanted it to be the best that I could possibly do, and I just I hope that you feel a little better, and that I'm just so glad that you're going to come with me on the trip, because this is something that's something to feel good about. It's something to be optimistic about, and to remind yourself that that there's still some really cool things that can happen in the world, and that things are gonna just get better and better and better, and in the midst of a bunch of darkness, this is some light. So thank you for being part of it. Okay, I'll see you guys again really soon.